Hello again. We'll talk about sentence structure. Parts of the sentence. The principal parts will be the subject. The secondary parts will be object, attribute, and adverbial modifier. And independent elements will be interjections and parentheses. Parts of the sentence. Principal parts subdivided into the subject and the predicate. What is subject? Subject is a principal part of the sentence, is grammatically not dependent on the other parts of the sentence, can denote a living being, a lifeless thing, an idea, or a phenomenon. May be expressed by a single word or a group of words. The first one a pronoun or a noun, a substantivized adjective or participle to, for example, she or Jenny is beautiful. The vows that were taken good care of. The second numeral can be cardinal and ordinal, an infinitive phrase, or construction, an ing form. For example, the first is his number in races. To know everything is to know nothing. Seeing is believing. The subject will be notional and formal. It as a subject of the sentence. A notional subject represents living being or a thing. The first, the personal it. The second, the demonstrative it. The formal subject performs purely a grammatical function. The first, impersonal it. The second, introductory or anticipatory it. The third, emphatic it. It, notional subject of the sentence. The personal it stands for a definite thing or some abstract idea previously mentioned. For example, this is famous picture. It was painted by John Constable. The demonstrative it points out some person or thing expressed by a predicative noun. For example, it is John. Refers to the thought contained in a previous statement. The impersonal it used to denote natural phenomenon, talk about the weather. For example, it's rainy day, it's sunny day. The next, time and distance, it's a long way from here. It's a long way from here. It's a distance mean. A description of a place. It was calm and beautiful up in the mountains. To introduce an action, it's going to take 5 hours to get there. To comment on the fact, it was surprising that a few people came to the show. It, as a formal subject of the sentence, introductory, anticipatory, it introduced the real subject. For example, it's no use lying to me. I know that Ross, it's impossible to find him. Practice sentences that is given. You should transform the following sentences. There is given 3 sentences. His brother brought me that letter an hour ago. Tom saw Jane in the park yesterday. The last sentence, we couldn't get in touch with them until we found their new address. It as a formal subject of the sentence. The emphatic it used for emphasis when we want to intensify the idea expressed by any part of the sentence. The first, I met his sister in the park. It was I who or that met his sister in the park. It was his sister whom that I met in the park. It was in the park that I met his sister. The second sentence, I told him the news after he returned from London. It was after he had returned from London that I told him the news. Third sentence, she didn't learn the trust until she returned home. It was not until she returned home that she learned the trust. We didn't receive a letter from them until May. It wasn't until May that we received a letter from them. There is given practice sentences. You should translate following sentences into Russian. The formal subject they. They are to say that something exists. They are to mention the presence of something. They are to say that something was happened or will happen. They are with modal verbs to express possibility or probability. They are with the verbs to seem, to appear. They are to explain a problem. In the construction they are plus be, the predicate usually agrees in number with word immediately follows it. Other types of formal subjects. One as a subject is used when we think about the doer of the action in general, any person or people, including the speaker. One should be careful when crossing the street. One must always keep his word. They, as a subject, is used when we think about people in general, not including the speaker, usually followed by the verb to say. They say wonders sometimes happen. There is given practice sentences, translate, and following sentences into Russian. What is predicate? Predicate informs us of what is happening to the subject. May express an action, state, quality of the person, thing, or phenomena. Is grammatically dependent on the subject, agrees with it in person and number. Contains a find verb which may express tense, mood, voice, aspect, and etc. The predicate will be simple predicate and compound predicate. Simple predicate will be verbal and nominal. The compound predicate also verbal and nominal. Simple verbal predicate consists of only notional verb, any tense, aspect, voice, or mood form. For example, I have been waiting for you for half an hour. Did she tell him the truth? Can also be expressed by phraseological units and set phrases treated as verb equivalents. You know them. Have a look, hold a glance, have a walk, make a remark, take a walk, pay a visit, give a smile. For example, she has given him a smile. Have breakfast, have lunch, have dinner, take care of, make up one's mind, pay attention to, take part in, have a bath, have a shower, make sense. For example, they are having lunch now. Simple nominal predicate is expressed by a noun or an adjective or a verbal. It doesn't contain link verb. It shows incompatibility of an idea expressed by the subject and that expressed by the predicate. For example, me a liar. She spying. The compound nominal predicate consists of a link verb and a predicate. Be, become, get, grow, look, turn. A nominal part that may be expressed by a noun, an adjective, and numeral, a pronoun. An infinitive, an ing form, for example, the leaves are turning yellow, you look pale, he became a painter. Compound verbal predicate consists of finite form and verbal or an adjective. As their first component, we can find modal verbs and phrases, verbs of seeing, appearing, unexpected occurrence, some verbs of position and motion, phrasal verbs. Compound verbal predicate, modal verbs and phrases can, may, must, have to, be to, shall, should, will, would, ought to, need, dare, be going on, be capable, or be able, be willing, be anxious, be bound, be obliged, and etc. You should have done it. Mary is going to have a baby. Verbs of seeming or appearing, Jack seemed to have heard the news. For a moment, she appeared to be hesitating. Unexpected occurrence happened, turn out, chance prove. They happened to meet in the park. Some verbs of position and motion. John sat reading a book. Jill is out shopping. Phrasal verbs of beginning, repetition, duration, and cessation. Fiona started attending lectures on Monday. He gave up smoking. When a child, she used to ride a bicycle every day in the nearest park. There is given 15 sentences. You should find the predicate and characterize it. The first one, for example, the meeting will begin at 7 p.m. Next, subject-predicate agreement will be subject and predicate. Predicate will be in singular, in the plural. Subject, homogeneous subjects, and after infinitives, to labor in peace and devote her labor and life to her poor son was all the widow sought. After nouns in the plural way, Jean and Tom are moving back from the USA. Their or here depends on the nouns following the predicate. There is a table, or here is a table, 5 chairs and a sofa in the room. There are, or here are, 5 chairs, a table and a sofa in the room. The third one, homogeneous subjects connected by not only but also either or, neither nor. If the last item is singular, either the station or the cinema is a good place to meet. In plural way, if the last item is plural, neither your sister nor you are to blame. Either the station or the cinema are a good place to meet. Two subjects in the singular connected by as well as. Agrees with the subject that stands first. The Volga as well as its affluents is a very picturesque way. The Volga's affluents as well as the Volga itself are very picturesque way. The fifth, a noun modified by two or more attributes connected by and. When one person or thing, idea is meant, the complete and beautiful quiet was almost the quiet form beyond the grave. In plural way, if two or more persons, things, or ideas are meant classic and light music, have both their admirers. Emphatic it was the Simpsons who bought that house. The seventh, words beginning with every, any, some, no, each, every, plus single noun. Nobody was at home. Everybody was glad to see him back. Every room has its own bathroom. The boys have each drawn a picture. Dates, an interrogative pronoun. Who, what, which. A relative pronoun. Who, which, that. For example, who's that woman over there? In plural way, if the question refers to more than one person. Who are they? Agrees with the preceding word. Postman is a man who or that delivers letters. Do you know the people who or that live here? Hence, a noun in the plural, which is the title name of a book, a newspaper, a magazine. The Portsmouth Papers of the Pickwick Club was written by Charles Dickens. The next, a plural noun denoting time, measure, or distance. The almost as a whole. For example, 400 miles was a huge distance when a man was no longer young. The 50 pounds he gave me was soon spent. Any, each, neither or either none of plus plural noun is preferred in careful written English. For example, I don't think any of them knows or know him. In plural way, neither of the French athletes have or has won this year. Next one, a majority of, a number of, a lot of, a plenty of, all of, some of, plus a plural noun. A number of books in the library has risen to over 5 million. In plural way, a number of some of refugees have been returned back at the border. The majority of, any of, none of, lot of, plenty of, all of, some of, plus singular noun. For example, all the furniture was destroyed in the fire. Many a good climber has met his death on this mountain in the singular way. A collective noun, a denoting group or collection of similar individuals taken as a whole. For example, mankind, humanity. What is mankind? Of multitude, denoting the individuals of the groups taken separately, people, police, cattle, infantry, cavalry, jury, clergy, and etc. In plural way, there is given, for example, the police are over all the place. Next one, family, committee, crew, army, board, band, party, team, government, company, the Bank of England, the BBC, IBM, Sony, and etc. The institution or organization as a whole unit. The band was beginning to play a selection from the music of grudge. In plural way, the institution or organization as a collection of individuals. For example, the committee usually raise their hands to vote yes. Noun ending in S means news, economics, linguistics, mathematics, statistics, physics, gymnastics, debates, measles, rabies. For example, the news from the Middle East seems very encouraging. Belonging, clothes, earnings, goods, outskirts, riches, congratulations, savings, stairs, thanks, surroundings. The company's earnings have increased for the last 5 years. A syntactic word group consisting of two nouns connecting by and. Meant as a single unit, as one person, thing. Wife and mother was asked with affectionate deference before the plan was made. Denoting different persons' things or notions, Sally and I were Elan. A syntactic word group consisting of two nouns connected by and. Meant as a single unit as one person thing. The wife and mother was asked with affectionate deference before the plan was made. Denoting different persons, things, or notions, Sally and I were Elan. Word group denoting arithmetic calculations, addition, subtraction, and division. 2 and 5 is 7. Multiplication. Twice, 2 is 4. Twice, 2 are 4. Person, a plus singular noun. Around 10% of the forest is destroyed each year. In plural example, person plus plural noun. I would say that about 50% of the houses need major repairs. There is given practice sentences. You should replace the infinitives in brackets by the correct form of the verb. Thank you for your attention.